In previous Zoom lecture sections, we have gone into detail about the research that's ongoing about the importance of the contributions of the bacteria that are in the gut, particularly the large bowel, and their contributions to good health, because all the cells in the various organs communicate with each other with molecules that are somewhat like hormones and are a group called cytokines. Cyto meaning cell, kind from kinetic energy, activators, cell activators. And though books frequently say cells talk to each other, that implies audio. This is just molecules that are sent and received on receptors that are very important. And we're going further into the evidence we have that the bacteria in the large bowel are very important in seeking the most optimal level of good health that a person can have. Thank you. The idea of probiotics refers to what a person can do in their diet as well as habits and lifestyle that contributes to healthy bacteria in the large bowel. And even brushing your teeth multiple times a day contribute to good bacteria in the bowel, because the bacteria in the mouth are antagonistic toward releasing molecules that are beneficial in cellular metabolism. Now, like to establish that the human body has a bacterial flora present in all over the body. Fact is, it's very important that we're healthy and have a good immune and host defense system, because we have organisms, microorganisms in hair shafts and sweat glands and nasal hairs of the nose, in the mouth, the gums, in the mucosa, particularly the urethra and anus. And there are bacteria in the large bowel, particularly, and this leads to many bacteria being present over the region between the thighs, where the urine and feces are eliminated from the body, to have a background of bacteria. And you want to keep all these where they are, and you want to keep your body quite healthy so that our host defenses keep these organisms away from feasting on our tissue. As I frequently say to these organisms, our serum and our blood and our tissues that are attached to our bones are like jello to these organisms, and they'd like to consume it just as a nutrient. However, we are fortunate that we have white cells and in our serum molecules that defend the body against all these microorganisms, and we want to keep them in their right place, and we want to keep good organisms, particularly in the bowel. And as I pointed out, even brushing your teeth 2 to 5 times a day has been shown by dental research to promote these organisms of the gums and teeth, which are antagonistic toward the bacteria in the large bowel, that keeps them from overpowering the bifido or good bacteria in the bowel. Now, this term bifidobacteria is referring to the friendly or the health promoting bacteria in the gut. And these bacteria process food and make nutrients available for absorption through the capillaries in the wall of the bowel to go into the serum and be pumped around to all the cells for their nutrition. And I think I was prepared to accept this because there's worldwide research going on about how important the flora or the bacteria that are in the bowel. And it hasn't really gotten into, I'd say, common knowledge of the population. But I had read a paper years ago that in Belgium they had a conference on soybeans, and there's probably more research on soybeans because this is a source that is renewable to make protein available for third world countries where children especially need protein. And we just can't. Well, the animal protein is not all that healthy, and it costs a whole lot more than the protein from soybeans. But the soybeans have a store of many nutrients in them, but in nature, a sugar is added to the end of the nutrient molecules that makes the nutrient water insoluble. And when it's water insoluble, bacteria and fungus and other organisms cannot utilize it, and it prevents it from being destroyed. However, the healthy bacteria in a gut removes this sugar on the end of it, which makes the nutrient molecule water soluble, and it can be absorbed in the serum circulating through the capillaries in the wall of the bowel, and then sent out to all the cells of the body. And so this is prepared me to be more receptive, I think, to the fact that there's worldwide research going on about the contributions to optimal health that the species of bacteria that are in your large bowel contribute to the health. And there are different names for this. These sometimes they're called a internal farm because these are living organisms. In fact, it's pointed out that there's more organized DNA in these organisms that are in the large bowel than the amount of DNA in our chromosomes of our other cells in the body. So that's a huge amount of knowledge or information, pardon me, that is present in the friendly bacteria that are in the large bowel. And I might add at this point that the best utilization of your money is to have a 6-month automatic order arrangement with our organization to get a 20% discount on our New Eden dietary supplement that contains nutrients that are low or missing or avoided by choice in the American food chain. But also, we give a bottle of Milaro, which is bifidobacteria or friendly bacteria at no cost, which, depending on how you go about trying to get it, can be worth anywhere from about $25 to $50. That is free in addition to the 20% discount on the New Eden. And we don't particularly stress these bifidobacteria because we're having what I call a sufficient challenge to try to inform the public, which is like professionals as I was, indoctrinated with the conventional medicine and pharmaceutical philosophy that if you have a physical, mental, or emotional problem, we have a drug for it. However, drugs are expensive. They are made by human beings, and their mechanism of action is to poison the engineering and design of life to suppress symptoms. And the ideal drug, if you quit taking it, the symptoms come back. Whereas in more comprehensive nutrition, which we stress, it supports the engineering and design of life that is coded in the chromosomes, the DNA chains, that there are 46 of them, and it's 23 pairs, half of them from the maternal history and half from the paternal history, in other words, father and mother. And this code is responsible for how nutrients are assembled together and hooked together in cellular synthesis to make bioactive compounds that conduct the biochemistry and physiology of life. So we're giving away this free Milaro with these monthly automatic orders that reduce our costs. And we hope that in time people will understand. Of course, you can also get this Milagro individually if you want it for a fee. Now, as there are multiple terms used for this types of strains of bacteria in the large bowel. Some people call it the internal farm. That's like a FARM because all these are alive organisms and you want to promote them. Now, one of the things that we will point out in this lecture that 10% of citizens in our country have kidney stones. And passage can be very painful. Professional assistance by urologists and being hospitalized can be unplanned and quite expensive and painful experience. And this is an active area of medical research of what the bacteria that are all over our body, depending on where they are and what kind they are, either contribute to or prevent stone formation in our urinary tract. Now, from Thailand in the journal Microbiome, that means the small biological bacteria in the gut, that Lactobacillus acidophilus prevents calcium from forming crystal stones, which are the principal stones of the urinary tract. But a very common bowel bacteria is Escherichia coli. Actually, it's often used in surveys to try to identify uh, improper storage, refrigeration of food, particularly in restaurants. But Escherichia coli, that you confine it to the bowel, if it gets into the urinary tract, it fosters stone formation. So you want to reduce and keep the Escherichia coli in the bowel and not in the urinary tract. And in pediatrics, if properly taught, little girls are taught to, after they urinate, to take the toilet paper and go from front to the back and then drop it into the commode to dispose of it, and never bring it forward because the population of E. coli on the perineum around the anus is very high, and you don't want to ever bring that forward toward the urethra. And this little simple thing of always moving the tissue paper back and then dropping it is prevents genital urinary tract infection. The emphasis of trying to keep this E. coli out of the wrong places, newborn babies coming through the birth canal for decades received colloidal silver drops in their eyes to kill any E. coli that might have been picked up in the birth process. And this has been replaced now with antibiotics, which are much more expensive than colloidal silver. But it's the fashion of the time to do this. But this is just one of the simple things that was done for ages to make sure that the E. coli don't infect the eyeballs and the sockets where there's moisture and warmth, and they can proliferate. Now, this bacteria, the acidophilus, reduces clumping and growth of calcium oxalate crystals, which are the number one stone that forms in the urinary tract. that this bacteria also prevents crystals from sticking to kidney cells up and down the urinary tract that can start stone formation. So that's a healthy bacteria that can be in the urinary tract, but E. coli from the colon increases clumping and growth of oxalate crystals, and it leads to the stickiness of the cells in the kidney and the urinary tract, and you don't want E. coli there. Now, one of the simple things, and this is one of the reasons we're told to drink lots of water, that by keeping the flow of water in the urinary tract system, you reduce the incidence of stone formation, that flow of the fluid. And this also, with lots of drinking water, promotes the microbiome in the large bowel, which where you want to keep the E. coli and other desirable colon bacteria, and they need water also in the fecal flow. Also, you should know that in your food choices that there's probiotic activity by taking yogurt in your diet with the lactobacillus, particularly organisms that are in yogurt, and also fermented milk, which is called kefir, and the sauerkraut that's particularly associated with Europe and Germany. It's fermented cabbage, and kimchi is also from Korea. And the bacteria that grow in these fermented substances promote probiotics or healthy bacteria in your large bowel. Now, there's a Chicago dietitian that emphasizes that we need a significant amount of fiber in our diet, and that we need 25 to 32 grams of fiber in our diet daily. And this is utilized by healthy bacteria in the large bowel to proliferate and to be more common than bacteria that are not health promoting. That I've mentioned you before, the studies that show bacterial flora can be promoting stone formation and reverse stone formation. And it should be known that plant-based diets retard stone formation. Citrus fruits are particularly beneficial, and a high meat diet promotes stone formation. And this is particularly emphasized in the common denominators of the National Geographic Society that issued grants to 5 grants, in fact, to search for on the globe areas where individuals had longevity and in good health. And one of the common denominators of all these areas that they found, which they call blue zones, is a diet that is more based on plants than anything else in the diet. And though meat is not totally eliminated, it's a small portion of the diet. This concludes part 1 of this video. Please click part 2 below to continue.